Russia or China will. And I'm not letting that happen. If we don't take Greenland, Russia or China will take Greenland. And I am not going to let that happen.
Is there any deal they can offer you? Either like
yeah, sure. I'd love to make a deal with them. It's easier. But one way or the other, we're going to have Greenland.
Are you okay if that compromises NATO? If NATO effectively ceases to exist?
I've done a great job. I'm the one that saved NATO. I'm the one that got them to pay 5% of GDP. Wait a minute. It was 2%, and they didn't pay. Now they're paying 5%. I'm the one that saved NATO. You wouldn't have NATO if I weren't president.
Would you pull the U.S. out of NATO? Would you consider doing that?
Well, maybe NATO would be upset if I did it. Maybe NATO would save a lot of money. But I like NATO. I just wonder whether or not if we needed NATO, would they be there for us? I'm not sure they would.
A stunning declaration from the White House and a warning that is sending shockwaves across the Atlantic. U.S. President Donald Trump says the United States will have Greenland. Speaking aboard Air Force One, Trump framed the world's largest island as a strategic prize, arguing that if Washington does not act, Russia or China will. He insisted the outcome is inevitable. A deal, he said, would be easier, but one way or another, Greenland will belong to the United States. Trump dismissed concerns from America's allies, brushing aside warnings that such a move could fracture NATO. He claimed credit for saving the alliance, mocked Greenland's defenses, and argued that military presence alone is not enough. His remarks have been triggering an alarm in Europe. Belgium's defense minister is now urging NATO to launch a new Arctic operation, a coordinated alliance response to rising tensions in the high north. European officials say Greenland's security must be handled collectively, not through annexation. Denmark and Greenland are pushing back hard. Both governments insist the island cannot be taken and that its future must be decided by Greenlanders alone. The backlash is also growing in Washington. Democratic senators are warning that any attempt to seize Greenland by force or pressure would be catastrophic. Senator Tim Kaine says Congress will stop it, predicting overwhelming bipartisan opposition to military action against a NATO ally. He calls the idea disastrous, warning it would isolate the United States and turn allies into adversaries. Senator Chris Murphy goes further. He says a U.S. takeover of Greenland would mean the end of NATO itself, forcing alliance members into an unthinkable confrontation with Washington. European leaders echo that warning. They say Greenland belongs to its people, not to superpower ambition, and that any attack on a NATO member would shatter the alliance built after World War II. NATO's top military commander in Europe said the Arctic has now become a front line in global strategic competition. Speaking at Sweden's leading security forum in Sälen, U.S. Air Force General Alexis Grinkowicz said there is no immediate threat to NATO territory, but warned that the Arctic and Northern Europe are increasingly contested. Grinkowicz pointed to growing pressure from both Russia and China in the region, calling the area central to future security challenges.
I don't think there's an immediate threat to NATO territory right now. As new shipping routes emerge and new resources are discovered, the Arctic only grows in strategic importance. And all of this comes in the midst of an increasing hybrid threat: airspace violations, GPS and GNSS interference, and the shadow fleet in the Baltic Sea threatening underwater infrastructure. In short, the Arctic, and Northern Europe by extension, has become a front line for strategic competition. Mentioned as the ice recedes and there's more and more access up there, we certainly see Russia and China working together. We have had Chinese vessels patrolling with Russia, not only on the north coast of Russia, but also north of Alaska and near Canada. Like I mentioned in my remarks, it's not for peaceful purposes. They're not studying the seals and the polar bears. They're out there doing bathymetric surveys and trying to figure out how they can counter NATO capabilities on and under the sea. So that's something that could grow very quickly, and we need to be mindful of it and ready for it. In short, military cooperation in this region has never been stronger. Moving forward, we intend to expand our intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance capabilities, to improve our infrastructure and logistics for military mobility and to strengthen our presence with Arctic-capable forces, many of those forces here in Sweden. With 7 of 8 Arctic nations inside the alliance, the other one being Russia, we will and we can get this right.
Diplomacy for now remains the stated priority, but Trump's words have reset the debate, transforming Greenland from a distant Arctic territory into the center of a global geopolitical standoff. What began as a question of security is now a test of alliances and a moment that could redefine the future of NATO itself.